Yo, what's up guys, and welcome back to another battle. This time I am playing xtrashine. I of course am pokeaimMD, and we are playing for one of my round 1 matches of the Smogon Worldcup. I am playing for Team Metro this year, not East, because apparently I wasn't allowed on East this year because some rules changed. But in any case, I'm using a Quagsire offense versus xtrashine because xtrashine is typically one of your more offensive and aggressive players. So Quagsire puts a stop to most of his teams. xtrashine actually seems to be using some sort of spikes balance. That was definitely not his team. I can tell you that much. But Scarf Breloom, which is what I brought, puts in a ton of work versus him. Revenge killing, Tyranitar, sporing Metagross, beating Keldeo and Starmie, force palming the Ferrothorn, and it can even spore / bullet seed the Landorus. So Breloom is definitely going to put in a lot of work this game. My Wish Protect Jirachi actually walls a majority of his team as well. Metagross cannot 2-hit KO it unless it's running Earthquake, which they don't typically tend to run. Of course, I will scout for it because this is an important game. And yeah, in any case, I'm going to lead off with my Breloom just because, like I said, I get that fast Spore off versus anything. Unfortunately, leads off with Landorus. I'm pretty sure it's actually Scarf Landorus just because he does have Ferrothorn as well as Tyranitar in the back, and those are more than likely his Stealth Rockers. So I don't want to risk taking just a U-turn or anything like that. I'd rather go out to my own Landorus. Shout out to Blunder forcing me to use these nicknames on my Pokemon. Go out to my own Landorus and get that bit of chip damage on him as he brings out his Metagross. I definitely don't want to take an Earthquake. I also don't want to take an Ice Punch, which is more so why I switched out, not the Earthquake. And also Earthquake would not have been able to knock out Metagross. And because he brought it in before Intimidate or after Intimidate, then he has that max attack coming off. So I go out to my Jirachi expecting the Ice Punch. He hits me with that and freezes me. And this freeze is so lame. I am Wish Protect Jirachi, and it does wall the majority of his team. I don't want to stay in because, one, he could have Earthquake on his Metagross, and two, I don't want to allow him to bring out like Ferrothorn or Tyranitar to Pursuit Trap a now frozen Jirachi. So I decided to double out into my Landorus, also scouting for that Earthquake or Hammer. I'm getting a bit of chip damage off on him as he brings out his Ferrothorn. Decided just to exchange rocks right here as he is going to get up his own Stealth Rock, and I actually decided to hard switch out into my Breloom, expecting a Leech Seed right now, as he does go right for that Leech Seed. And scouting for the Gyro Ball, I am also going to switch again now into my Keldeo, as he reveals that he is dual spikes. Now, I am Choice Specs Keldeo. I do have the Focus Blast. Focus Blast is an easy 2-hit KO on Starmie, so I am going to throw that off. I do have HP Bug on this Keldeo as well, just in case he wants to bring like some Celebi Pass sort of thing. So I put HP Bug on my Keldeo. Basically, my game plan is go for Focus Blast. Landorus is 2-hit KO'd after Stealth Rock. There's no way he's bringing that thing out. Keldeo dies. Ferrothorn will die. Metagross will almost die. And Starmie is easily 2-hit KO'd. So I throw off a Focus Blast, and unfortunately I do miss. I mean, that's Focus Blast though. I decided to throw off another Focus Blast because, one, he's just going to go for Scald right here or double, expecting my Latios to come out to try and Pursuit Trap me. So I decided to throw off another Focus Blast because if I do hit this Focus Blast, I either force him to recover or to not go for Scald in that turn. That way, in that turn, I could bring in like my Breloom with keeping rocks up, bringing him lower to the point. If I hit the Focus Blast, I could bring him lower to the point where next time I bring in Keldeo and is only switching to Starmie, I can go for HP Bug, predicting that and knocking it out. But I am 0 for 2 with Focus Blast, so we're going to switch out into our Latios, as he's going to go for the Scald, and he gets the burn on my Latios, to be expected. So goes right for that Scald and is able to burn me. I do have Thunderbolt on this Latios, and I'm expecting Tyranitar to want to come out. But at this point, because the hazards are all up, I'm not sure if doubling is the play to make. So I decided to go right for Defog just to get rid of as many hazards as possible, his Stealth Rock as well as his Spike. As he brings out that T-Tar, I don't think it's Choice Scarf T-Tar just because he did have that Landorus on that team, which is Choice Scarf. He could be dual, rocking the dual Choice Scarf, but that's typically not something that is too common among higher players. So I am going to sack my Latios, as my Breloom is going to be able to come out and go for the Force Palm. I didn't necessarily want to go for Force Palm. I'd rather have gone for the Bullet Seed right there, especially because it was confirmed he was not Choice Scarf Tyranitar, since he did underspeed my Latios. But at that point, I didn't want him going Ferrothorn either, expecting bullets. I didn't want Ferrothorn to be able to come out either, so I revealed the Force Palm, which may have given him a hint that was Choice Scarf, but who knows. As he decides to bring out the Metagross, I hard switch directly into my Jirachi, just in case he goes for the Ice Punch right here. And I decide to actually double out into my Keldeo. At this point, I kind of have to. Had I not been frozen, I would have went for the Wish, but if he does go out to Ferrothorn, he just gets up all his hazards again. He actually goes for Zen Headbutt, so a good play on his part, though at the same time, had I not been frozen, I would have been able to body slam and potentially parry him. So it was a good play, but the freeze definitely made me make the play I did. So I bring out my Landers. He cannot knock me out with the -1 Ice Punch, and I would knock him out with Earthquake with the Rocky Helmet. So he brings out his Ferrothorn on my rocks, as at this point I'm just trying to weaken his Ferrothorn to the point where I can knock it out with Force Palm from my Breloom. So he is going to hit up with another Spikes. Now, I don't have U-turn on this Landers, if you guys didn't notice. That's why I'm not going for it. I don't want to talk about my last move, just in case I use it. But I am going to bring out my Breloom right here, just in case he decides to Leech Seed, as he does. And at this given point, I decide just to get rid of this Ferrothorn with the Force Palm. That's Technician boosted. However, the Spikes and Stealth Rock are going to be here to stay for the majority of the game. So Metagross is going to come out. My Jirachi is in danger of being 2-hit KO'd by Hammer Arm. If he does choose to predict that. So I decided to go route to my Landers just to take the Ice Punch and to force the Intimidate on the Metagross. That way I can now go out to my Jirachi and I can take the next Ice Punch or Zen Headbutt, and then I can also live 2 Hammer Arms. But he does crit me with Ice Punch right here as well through the Intimidate. So had he chose to stay in and went for the Hammer Arm, he could have 2-hit KO'd me. But thankfully he doesn't. I'm just trying to thaw. I'm trying to go for a wish right now, because if I can bring back in my Landers, I'm in a really, really good position. And at this point, I actually go for Protect just to scout if he would go for Knockoff, because if he was packing knockoff, excuse me, on the Choice Scarf Landorus, that was his best play right now. It gets rid of Breloom, gets rid of Landorus, it gets rid of Quagsire's leftovers had I chosen to go out to that. Quagsire, of course, walling Landorus as well as Metagross unless it's packing Grass Knot, but I can't go out to Quagsire because every time I bring in Quagsire, and if he goes for U-turn, Keldeo comes in and gets a kill. So what I'm trying to do is Protect as he goes for the U-turn right now. Brings back out his Metagross, surprisingly, because if I do break through this next turn and go for Protect, Hammer Arm never kills me. It never kills me after this, but I stay frozen as Hammer Arm is going to get pick up the KO right there, as I can now go out into my Breloom. I guess also playing around with the fact that he did get the speed drop, so I'm able to go for the Spore and outspeed him. He might just think, okay, with the speed drops I do outspeed him. Jolly Breloom does outspeed Metagross after speed drops anyway, so going to double back out into my Landers as he is going to go out to his own Landers, and he decides just to go for U-turn. I'm pretty sure he actually does not have the knockoff, just because he would have went for it. So he more than likely has either Explosion as his last move on Scarf Landers or Super Powered to help check Mega Gyarados, though Mega Gyarados isn't too much of a problem to his team with Ferrothorn and Keldeo, so I'm thinking more so Explosion. He does bring out the Keldeo. Now, I actually have a chance of winning right here, guys. It comes down to Scald Burns, but because Extra Shine, at the point he actually even said in the game, oh man, that freeze sucked, I thought you were Scarf Jirachi. So he wasn't really paying attention to the game, surprisingly, but he thought I was Scarf Jirachi the entire time. I guess he was just not noticing leftovers. Call him Jam Bad, just like Jam does in all of his Showdown Live. Just doesn't, I'm sure this guy's Life Orb sees it gain back HP at the end of the turn. But in any case, I go out to my Breloom and I'm like, okay, if I have any shot right now, it's him staying in, not fearing me to be Scarf Breloom and picking up the KO with Bullet Seed. He does stay in, and I am able to get the KO with the Bullet Seed. So now it comes down to if I can get not Scald Burn. So he brings out his Landorus, and I can't go out to Quagsire because Quagsire will be 2-hit KO'd by Earthquake after Spikes and Stealth Rock depending on rolls. So I decide to stay in as he actually goes for U-turn, which I'm really surprised of, because if I did switch out into my Quagsire, I would have been able to take that and then maybe force Starmie to recover on a point where I could bring in my Breloom and start bullet seeding. But it's still going to come down to the same thing. Basically, whenever he brings in the Starmie, he's not the Jamvad Starmie with the Toxic. I actually like that Starmie a lot more than Psyshock or anything. It helps it beat Mega Slowbro a lot more reliably and just helps a bunch of teams. So just because his team is so weak to Mega Slowbro, his answer is Leech Seed Ferrothorn. But I go for Curse as he does crit me with the first Scald. Thankfully, the next Scald isn't going to be able to knock me out regardless of the crit, unless he got like double crits right there. And basically, I'm just hoping that he does not burn me, because I need to be boosted enough to the point where I can knock out Starmie and not be burned. Of course, Scald, it's my favorite move in the game. For this specific reason, it makes or breaks games, and he does Scald Burn me, so we're just going to skip ahead a little bit because I decided to try and stall him out of a few Scalds. I do have a few less recovers than him, but it takes him multiple Scalds in order to 3-hit KO me. He has to 3-hit KO me with Scald, so I do have a chance to maybe beat this, but I wouldn't be able to beat Landorus at the given point, and he actually double crits me right there, as at this point, I'm just recovering up, trying to take on this Starmie, but at the end of the day, he's going to get a crit, and then he's going to finish me off with another Scald. I went for Curse right there, and that's going to be a good game. So, good game, Extra Shine. Sucks that my first game of round 1, I played 3 games. I played Extra Shine, Teddy, and Telly. So, sucks that my first game ended up like that. I think that if I had a Jirachi, if I wasn't playing with 5 Pokemon the entire game, I could have done something, especially because Quagsire walled the majority of his team. I could wish past Jirachi to Keldeo, to Breloom, even to Landorus, because Landorus would come in a couple times because U-Turn would not be able to knock me out from his own Landorus. So maybe I could have wished past, but that's the game we choose to play. Anyway, good game, dude. I hope you guys all enjoy. Feel free to leave a like, subscribe, do your thing, and I will see you guys next time. Cue the outro.